Hello, hello. Hey, Michael. Welcome. Nice to see you, man. Hello, hello. Nice to see you guys on. I can honestly tell you, I am so tired of apologizing for being on so late and saying that life is messy. Things are changing. They are. It's just, it's been rough. Not gonna lie. Can't make it up. This is real life. That's it. This is not reality. This is not scripted. It's real life, yo. This is how we roll, yo. So yeah. But I'm glad you guys are here for another episode of Insight with Moonshadow. It's a good topic too, I think. It came to me. Actually, you're gonna think this is funny, but I will mention it. I will mention how this topic came up. But it was a very interesting way that the topic came up, which is interesting. Yeah, kind of just like a poke. It's like, hey, why don't you talk about this? I know, drives Ariel crazy not having a topic yet. I know, and I apologize. I have to say sorry, not sorry, because 9 out of 10, it may happen again. I hope not. I used to be far more orchestrated and far more planned and far more syncopated and all that good stuff. But there was a health snag that kicked in that is now more manageable, which is good. And then life gets in the way. But every week, still here. Never changes. You know? So, give me a little bit of that at least. A little prop there. Just a little prop that I'm still here every week. With all 4 limbs and whatnots. And I'm functional. Yeah. Definitely. So we'll wait a few more minutes and we'll get this party started. And so how are you guys doing? Let's do a little catch up. I've been kind of MIA. I haven't really been on. I'm on but not on all at the same time. I've been working mindfully and trying to put a lot of good content out there, trying to disperse the dark side of the force, if you will, and what's going on. Trying to shed some light in the world, the best I can. But I know it's not enough. I know just me is not enough. I'm trying, and it's not even that I'm not enough. We need more. So it's wrong for me to say I'm not enough. I'm enough. Each of us are enough. Are more than enough. But it'd be nice if there was more than enough to change the energy of the world today. But oh, that's awesome. I know we have not. I feel bad, Michael, because we have not seen snow in a bit. We're looking at possibly seeing snow this weekend. But knock on wood. Now look, see now, knock on wood. This isn't wood, but pretend. I've been really eating well, yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. It's also another possible topic that I was thinking about too, about sleep. About talking about sleep. Hours of sleep, quality of sleep. yeah, that can definitely affect you too, especially people that are more intuitively based, people that are more creative, people that are more empathic. What happens is dreaming is kind of like a part-time job. Well, not a part-time job, but it's like an added activity. You don't just sleep and knock out and don't do anything. You're doing stuff. Some of us are doing more stuff, even more stuff when we're sleeping. We're even more active when we're sleeping than we are when we're awake. So that's something that does happen. That does happen, for sure. Hello, Gene. Now, how's the audio and video? Is the video okay? Is the audio okay? Am I okay here? All good on your end? That's good. Yes. Catching up on sleep, that's the weekends for me. Audio and video is good. All right. Hope. Now, another reason why I was kind of later today is because there was a lot of updates on my phone. And since now, they make equipment so obsolescent that after a year and a half, 2 years, it's just you're pushed and forced to have to get new equipment. It's just the way it is. And ourselves as power users, myself and other content providers, content creators and people that do this for a living and are out there in social media and out there, you have to be on top of it. So when your equipment starts to become older and it starts to not work as well, you have to upgrade. So I'm due for that, and I am right now still in the process of shopping around for the next device, because ultimately it's going to have to be something badass for me to move forward. That's just an absolute have to, must have, must do. So that's really the big thing. So updates. So I had a lot of updates, and a lot of them were crucial. Like Google, for example. If YouTube is attached to Google in any way, shape, or form, you want to make sure that that's the case. YouTube didn't have an update. I think I updated a couple of days ago, but it's constant. It's just constant updates. And if you if you have Android, there are a lot of updates. And I believe iOS also has a lot of updates too. I believe so. But that's part of the world today. It's tech. It's the way it is. Definitely. So we're going to wait another few minutes and then we're going to get started. But it'd be good to catch up since I haven't spoken to you guys in a bit. It's been a week. And it's a very small circle of people I stay connected to on the day-to-day. So, with that, I would like to actually expand on doing more than one show a week, if possible. But equipment has to be a big part of it. I have to get things moving in a different direction as far as equipment, updating a few things, and making things happen on a larger scale. So we're still in the process of doing that, and I want to thank you all for being patient and still being there and supporting and sending good juju. And when I go live, you guys are here, so that's really, really nice. So that's important through tech glitches and everything that's going on. You guys are still here, and I think that's really, really awesome. Because if that's the case, then I would just end up being just filming. So we've got 2 people from Minnesota, don't you know? Hey, Pamela, how are you? Welcome. Where am I? Dum dum dum. I am somewhere in Casa Moonshadow. This just happens to be a nice backdrop. That's my version of green screen. Except it's not a green, it's not technical, it's physical, it's an actual green screen. It's an actual tapestry behind me, as you can see. It's kind of neat. Yeah. But I'm also looking at staging new things as well, new staging, that kind of deal. This is kind of happened, I believe it was Frank Zappa that said, necessity is the mother of invention. I could be wrong. Could have been Einstein. I might need to get that fact checked because we believe in fact checking. We believe in facts here. There is no fake stuff other than potentially surreal stuff that's going around in your periphery that you don't need to see out here. Like here is okay. You could see this. But here, no. What are we fact checking? Who is the originator of the quote? It's okay. Who is the originator of the quote? Necessity was the mother of invention. I want to say it was Frank Zappa. I'm going strictly from memory. I didn't look it up. Nothing. I just believe it was Frank Zappa because he did name his group Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention and the mothers, something to that degree. Yes. Also, I want to congratulate all the Olympic athletes from all realms. You did an incredible fine job in the Winter Olympics, and also I want to give a lot of good juju and a lot of hugs to our American athletes. Despite what's going on in the world today, they still put out 200 million% in being the best they can be, and I want to say that is phenomenal. So, and a lot of veterans too. Like Lindsey Vonn. She's like no joke. Yeah, sent to Insight with Moonshadow crack research team. Yes. No, I do believe, honestly, in fact checking. If anything that's changed in the world today is people are far more, are being put to be more accountable, especially people in big positions. So we have a lot of news now because the whole, the author of this proverbial saying isn't known. It is somewhat ascribed to Plato, and it does appear in translations in Plato's Republic. Well, we're going to have to table that and see if there's any other info. We're looking for more data. We need more data on the situation. But yes, necessity, but that's a saying, it may be anonymous, and maybe someone that didn't want anyone to know. But there was a saying, necessity is the mother of invention, and with that, we got to do what we got to do. So if you need to get to work, or if you need to do something, you need to make do. So you have to adapt. You have to do that kind of thing to get from point A to point B. That is just the way it is. And now in this day and age, we are forced to adapt even more so, whether we like it or not. We're pushed and prodded and forced to fact check, to look up accurate information to make sure information is right, and all of that. So that's why I myself also stand accountable to give you accurate information, and I would correct myself immediately as far as information that I put out on this little show that could call it Insight with Moonshadow. That's right. All right, so I'm glad you guys are all here. Are you guys ready for the topic? I know Ariel is. Our producer's going, yes. What is it? Yes. Hey, oh my goodness. We've got Beth from across the pond, over from Wales, fantastic. No, we don't use alternative facts. We don't use alternative realities. Well, even though there are multiple different realities, I try to stick as close to the actual real reality as opposed to the bizarro world which we're living in today. But Beth, nice to see you. And also a big shout out to Beth. I believe she's a birthday girl. So happy birthday. Mwah! Big hugs and kisses from over in the States, over to you. And with the process of transportation, those happen immediately. It's not like snail mail or even email, even faster than a text message. Absolutely. So it's always a pleasure. And also too, Beth is a very, very strong contributor to Inside with Moonshadow and very near and dear to my heart. Why, you ask? Because if it wasn't for the elixir of life, other than good juju, you know, she's amazing. She has sent me some great Taylor's coffee, which I am drinking, and it is yum yum, and it's nom nom. Hey, Anna. I'm so glad you guys are here. So we've got people from all over, and I really, really love that. I love that this is an international show. It really means tons to me. It really does. And you guys rock. And I say that every week because it's true. You freaking rock, everybody. You guys are awesome. Absolutely. All right. So let's get this party started. You guys ready for the topic? No, I'm just teasing producer Ariel because she's like, what? Come on already. Because she's curious. Yeah, exactly. Roll your eyes. Okay, so here we go. Should I start the show first? Yeah, I think I will. I will formally start the show before we get into it. How's that? Oh, that's right. And Jean also, birthday. We've had a few birthdays recently, and I try to keep up. That's one thing I have to say about the FB. The FB is awesome because it's a reminder. It's a reminder of birthdays. So it comes up, and I strike with the irons hot. I'm like, yes, happy birthday, hugs and kisses, good stuff, send good juju. So that is one good thing about social media. Yours is March, you're a Pisces, so we're early. Ooh, you're a Pisces. A fish from Wales. Fantastic. So it's an early gift. And we have another birthday that's coming up as well. By the way, we have our lovely producer, Ariel, that is also has a BD, a birthday coming up. Very soon, actually. Very, very soon. She's going to be no lady. Yeah, okay. All right, let's get this show going. Ready? Yeah, I know all springtime's baby. I was born in winter. I was like born with Game of Thrones. You know, like I was born like similar to Game of Thrones, screaming in winter. No wonder I'm resilient. I think I have no choice. You just had yours, yeah. Yep. Okay, let's get this. Let's get the show started. Okay, and today I'm adding another quick little prayer and asking for juju, for the Creator to give us good tech juju, so we're good. So we stay connected, and the video and audio is good. So may Wakantanka walk with me and my tech devices and help me provide good content. That sounds kind of funny, but also too, I am actually kind of serious because I know we're not working with the newest, biggest, and baddest, so please. Please, 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 just connect and be good. All right. Okay, look at the time. We're looking at 6:33. Welcome to Inside with Moonshadow. I am Moonshadow. I am a Integrative Holistic Therapist, CHI-vangelist, minister, earthy, crunchy dude, kind of a cross between Rafiki and Mufasa. Kind of nuts. And Yoda, a little bit. Like Yoda light. I don't think I'm as old as Yoda, but Yoda rocks anyway. But, welcome to episode 111. Now, 111, by the way, there's angel numbers in that, so 11 is a master number. Interesting. But that's not the topic for today, even though angel numbers is on the topic list, by the way. But no, the topic for today, the conversation that we're going to have is, you know how you find that you have an inner voice? Well, yes, we have an inner critic as well. We're not going to talk about the inner critic today. We're going to talk about your higher self. So that is the topic of conversation today, your higher self. Now, just as a quick start off of a question for all of you, bringing it out there into the chat, do any of you speak to yourselves? No. There will be no phone calls to the straitjacket police. We don't do that here, unless we have to. But do you have or hear an inner voice? How about that? Throw your answer in the chat. Let me know if you do, you don't, you want to, you don't want to, you got too many voices, whatever it may be. All right, we have Jean that says yes. Which one? Well, you have interesting you say that. We do have more than one self because time is not linear. And I'm not going to go to kind of throw your mind into total mind blown, but we are multifaceted beings. So some people may get lost at this point. I know you guys won't because you guys are very open. But some people watching this and looking at this information goes, what? Multifaceted? What? No way. This is it. This is all I got. I'm dead. That's it. I don't go anywhere. I'm here. And I'm dead. And I'm gone. And I forget. And it's history. Done. But yes, but we are very multifaceted, so we have multiverse selves in multi-dimensions. But that's a topic for a different conversation because that is intense. That's incredibly intense. But, okay. Ariel said that she has a higher self voice, and the spirit guide's voice is than angels and that. And, of course, Anna is saying, my complaining self is one teleprompter that can be pretty sarcastic. The one nobler inner voice is quieter. Now, then there's a shadow self, yes. But see, this is the thing. Your higher self is a more elevated... and Beth's saying she's going to haunt a lot of people when she goes. The list is getting longer. Oh, there you go. But see, the higher self isn't necessarily ever negative. So that's number one. A lot of times we as individuals think that nagging voice potentially is our higher voice. It really is not. It is a nurturing, more evolved, more enlightened, more clued in part of ourselves. Now, there is a lot of people subscribe to the fact that when intuitives do readings, that it is the person's higher self that they're connecting to or their own. Now, I'm not going to deny that. I think that that is possible, that you can talk to the person's higher self. But also, too, there are spirit guides, and there are totem animals, and there are life protectors, and there are apparitions and ghosts, and all kinds of other, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Right? And Beth's saying her higher voices are her parents. And also, too, that's also part of it. That's also part of the scenario as well, is our own upbringing. But your higher self is never going to say, now this is one telltale sign that people don't necessarily know. Your higher self does not necessarily mean to cause you harm. They only want what's best. And I say that like it's a second entity, which it really isn't. It's more like a different layer of you, of who you are. So that's number one. That's first and foremost. So you have your inner critic. Your inner critic, that's all about the, well, you should have, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. That is that. But think of your higher self as the part of you that has seen ahead on the road and knows better. So they can say, they can give you advice like, well, that's, I wouldn't do that if I were you, or that kind of thing. But also, too, you have spirit guides and other people that connect with you, other beings that connect with you, elementals that connect with you. You have all other types of influences. And also, potentially, this happens often. And I've done this myself as a young child, as well as hearing this from other children. A lot of times they can tap into their higher selves, and it's not necessarily coming from their spirit guides, but it could be also information from their higher selves that they download, and they seem wiser than their age. Because at age 3, 4, 5, I was asking questions. I was asking questions that a typical 3, 4, 5-year-old doesn't ask. Now, yes, and there are mental illnesses as well. If you go into the psychological Bible, there is a mental illness for everyone. All of us are there. They like to just make up new ones as they go along. Like, as you know, like autism is a blanket thing. Autism has many different levels. You have, all of that. There's so many different mental illnesses out there. And there's actually a mental illness for intuitives and psychics as well, and healers. And so that is also part of it as well. But the interesting thing about your higher self is it wants what's absolutely best for you. It doesn't want anything else but. Because if you think about it, yeah, it's a continuum. Absolutely. But the thing is this, though. And this has happened. I've had actual people have said this, and it amazes me that there are times that people have said to me, oh, I was in a situation and, the weirdest thing happened. I just heard your voice or you said something. Now, I can't necessarily explain that. I don't know if it's because it could be my higher voice visiting them. It could be, one of my guides kind of coming in as my voice or whatever. I have no idea. But I've had people say, oh, I was in a situation and you kind of, I just heard your voice saying something, giving me a piece of advice, a moonsight, if you will. And a couple of friends of mine, they were about to make a poor decision, and what ended up happening was they just saw me going, and they didn't do it. And it was a better decision. So whatever that may be, if that's my higher self, thanks, higher self. Thanks for helping other people, even when I'm not aware of it. And it could just be energy. It could be just a piece of energy out there. And honestly, that's not meant in any way, shape, or form as any form of negativity as far as ego or anything. I think that all of us are influenced by each other, you know? So if we know someone that by default has been in a situation, they too, their words can come back to kind of, I'm going to say haunt, but I don't mean haunt resonate within ourselves because we remember them telling us about a situation. However, it is a very, very important thing, your relationship with your higher self. Because ultimately, I try. I try to be as balanced as possible, and thank you. It's not going to be the inner critic or the bully or anything like that, because life is hard enough, seriously. So I try to do things in a more caring way for myself as well as anyone that's near and dear to me. Never mind, I just had recently, I had worked with someone I've worked with before. I've known this person forever and ever. And, they just asked me. They was like, "Look, I'm just feeling off. Can I schedule something?" And through techniques that I intuited, I helped them reground and center and get back to focus. And if you're watching, hope you're doing well. Big hugs and kisses to you. But the thing is this, so when you're connected to your higher self always wants what's best for you. So now, in this world today where we are getting ridiculed and pushed and tested and criticized, right? We are constantly getting criticized. We're constantly getting judged. And now it's only worse. It's only worse now. I've seen it in social media. You see someone posting something as a post, and then immediately there's a whole lot of 2 cents, penny for your thoughts kind of situations happening afterwards. It's not necessarily a bad thing. And thank you for that. I don't know if that's the right word for it in description, but yeah. But it is better than the bad voice. But the thing is here is that we are constantly judged and criticized, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so glad that things have changed drastically, where independence and individuality has taken a forefront. If you notice, if you look at the trends of what's been happening, people are more focused on, look, you can say what you want, but I'm still going to be me. You can say what you want, but I still feel the way I feel. I have thoughts, I have feelings, and no one can tell me different. So I'm going to say kudos to those people. Now, granted, of course, you got to know adaptability. You have to know that you don't know everything. I don't know everything. We don't know everything. We're in constant learning mode. We're in constant picking up things and learning and everything. So that is an important thing. However, you are hardwired to be a certain you. So it takes time for you to gain that relationship when you're younger onto when you become older and could be more cynical or more or less connected. It depends on what it is. Now, Jean had mentioned that she meditates with her higher self. Yes, conversations with your higher self is part of why we're having this topic today. I have done this myself. I have had conversations with my own spirit guides and my own soul circle or my own tribal soul council, if you will. And they are just a library of incredible information. So if something is stopping you up, yeah, you can talk to your guides, you can talk to your life protectors and totems, but also, too, you can also connect to your higher self. And this is something where that a lot of people will say that's their gut instinct, that's their hunches. You can get it from different aspects in different areas, but your higher self is always there. It's always somewhere in your periphery. It's always there to protect you. That is what usually brings you to fight or flight mode a lot of the times. because it's more than just intuition and knowing, okay, look, this is just bad juju. Something's not right about this situation. It's more than that. It's definitely more than that. So now, from looking at it from that perspective, it is so important to connect with your higher self and gain a better relationship with your higher self, because that way it's instantaneous. You get information, you download information so quickly, where if I have a question, sometimes I'll ask a question and it's right there, boom. Some people have to tune in, which is cool. It's not an issue. Some people have to kind of sit with it a little while. That's fine too. We all have different methods and motives and ways and vehicles on how we gain insight or gain information. However, when you build a really good rapport and relationship with your higher self and your soul council, your inner spirit tribe, your spirit guides and that, you're going to find information comes even faster and faster and faster. And it doesn't have to be a negative situation. It doesn't have to be a situation where things are not going well. It could be a great situation. It could be you're involved in something or in the start of something or at the pinnacle of something, and then your higher self says, yes, do it, go. This is it. That, and it does happen. So how do you gain a relationship with your inner self? Now I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and some moonsights on how you could increase and strengthen your connection to inner self and your higher self as well. One of the first things you can do, and I'd suggest this for any of you right here, right now. I'm going to give you homework already, right from the get-go. We're going to give you some homework. And the homework is this. Now, all of you are somewhat familiar with meditation. Some of us are new. Some of us are more intermediate and advanced, whichever. So you may be all across the board on the learning scale of meditation or guided journeys. But this is pretty simple. So what I'd like for you to do, and you don't have to do this right this second, actually, do you guys want to do it right now? Do you? Because we can. We can try something right here, right now. Because that's how we roll. So what do you guys think? We'll do a little field trip right now. Why not? I like you, Gene. Gene's like, yes! Let's do it. All right. All right, so now, what I'd like for you to do, and you're going to be hearing my voice, so I completely understand there will be no words in chat. So it's perfectly okay for you not to be typing, because I want you to close your eyes. What I would like for you to do is to sit. Sit, and sit relatively comfortably, okay? So you want to sit down with your feet flat on the floor. You want your hands on your knees. You know, your posture nice and straight. I'm slouching because I'm using my different tripod, and it only goes this high. I have to fix and retrofix my heavy-duty tripod. But what I'd like for you to do is sit with your feet flat on the floor and your hands on your knees, and I'd like for you to close your eyes and just breathe. Let's just breathe. Well then, Beth, you could wait. You could wait on that. That's okay. But you can try this when you're ready to go to bed, because I know it's late over there. It's already like 1 o'clock in the morning over in Wales. I think it's 6 hours difference. Okay, so now, if you're sitting up, you have your feet against the ground, connect with the ground underneath you, visualize you connecting to, oh, there you go, almost 12. And the replay, you can also go back to the replay. And what I'd like for you to do is just feel even though you may be in your house and it may be late, feel the nature underneath your feet and just feel that connection there. And I want you to just breathe. Breathe in through your nose, and we're going to breathe out through our nose too, because we're going to do that nasal breathing, because that way you can control your breath and just give good 3 solid breaths. Okay, so just go. I want you to do that 3 times. And it doesn't have to be in a rush. You don't have to hyperventilate, but just focus on those breaths. 3 nice, sturdy, hearty breaths. Now, once you complete those nice 3 healthy, nurturing breaths, I would like for you to open your third eye. Your eyes can be closed, but have your third eye open. Visualize the other you in front of you. Some of you may see it right away. Some of you may not. Some of you may feel something different. There might be other feelings involved. There might be other senses involved. So this is just a little bit of an experiment to see how far, how much you're going to experience right here at the moment. So now, open your third eye. Imagine sitting across from you an image of you. Now, when you're focusing on that, it may be a younger version of you. It may be an older version of you. It may look slightly different, this other you, this higher self. And you're focusing on your higher self coming through. You're not asking for anyone else to come through. You're looking for your higher self to come through and to connect with you. Now, give it a moment and just kind of look. Just observe this higher self, this higher you, this other you. And kind of look. See if there's any differences between you and your higher self. Think. Focus on that connection and bond between you and your higher self. You and your higher self may even move your hands out and connect that way. Putting hands like that on top of each other, or holding each other's hands from across from each other. Now visualize that and hold on to that. That's okay. Now, upon, feeling, you may feel a presence, you may feel an essence, you may feel different senses come in, because some people see things, some people hear things. Your clairs are different. It could be clairaudience, it could be just knowing. It could be so many different types of senses on what sense you use. Some people smell things. Like if I'm in the middle of doing a reading or working with someone, if I sense a presence, it may not be necessarily an energetic presence all the time. They may decide to show themselves as a smell or a sound, a voice, or an image, or a picture. So be open to whatever information that you get from what you see across from you. But just keep focused on your mind and in your mind and through your third eye that you are connecting or trying to connect or strengthen a connection or initiate a mindful connection with your higher self. Now, upon doing that, accept your higher self. Accept that there's that connection. Accept that your higher self is there. Again, if you may just feel a presence there near you, but you're going to feel a form of familiarity. That's the key here. You're going to feel a sense of this energy. I know this energy. This energy is familiar. Very good. So now this is just introductory, just connecting, just kind of like understanding and connecting with your higher self. So what I would like for you to do is for you to thank your higher self for showing itself and let your higher self know that your intention is to gain more insight within yourself, to become better, to become elevated, to uplift yourself to bigger and better things, and to have a more fulfilling life. And you accept their help, their love, their guidance. Because ultimately, they know more so than on a linear fashion. They know the multidimensional you. So this is something for you to think about. And then what I would like for you to do at that point is to reach out, give your higher self a nice hug, thank your higher self for coming, and once you're finished with that, I would like for you to breathe in and breathe out another 3 times, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose, slow, deep, and mindfully. And then, when you're done, open your eyes and come on back. So let me know when you guys are ready. No hurry. We're here. So it's all good. So remember, take 3 nice deep breaths. And then feel your body come back. Feel a feeling come back into your body. Some people, they kind of, I don't want to say they go numb, but some people kind of, I'm not going to say even disconnect. They just, that grounding is a little different, and then they find themselves being a little more light. And welcome back. So now, what was your experience with this little introduction with meeting your higher self? Did you meet your higher self? Did you see your higher self? What did your higher self look like? Feel free to put that in the chat. And also too, there's absolutely nothing wrong if you did not see your higher self. There's nothing wrong if you felt or saw nothing, because this is all steps. A lot of times we have to take baby steps into going into anything, whether it be meditation, whether it be working out, whether it be, whatever it is. A lot of times it takes steps to getting from one to the next, to the next, to the next. Because if you don't take a step forward, then you can't take another step forward. If you can't take another step forward, then you're not moving, you're not learning, you're not evolving. So here's the important thing. So did any of you see? Okay. So Ariella is saying, my higher self looks like me, but it's much kinder than I am to me, and appears slightly older than my current self. Well, there you go. That's very cool. And a lot of times, and Jean said, I saw my higher self as me and had a wolf with her. See, there you go. So now a totem came in. And Michael also saw his higher self. Hello, Melanie. How are you? Welcome, welcome. So, looking at it, so isn't it interesting? Now, your higher self really is our physical. You're very welcome, and it's very nice to have you here. Our topic today is about higher selves and how to connect to your higher self, and the importance of being in relationship with your higher self. Okay, you try to be aware of the third eye area, but just thinking on that part of my head hurt. Tried to see what my higher self was, but it's fuzzy, couldn't quite tell similar age. Okay, that's okay. Well, first of all, you have a headache, so that's tough. It's tough when you're dealing with pain that's grounding you in a negative way. So when you're dealing with pain, it's your body fighting something off. It's telling you that there's something that needs attention. So for you, you can revisit this and try it again later at another time to try to connect with your higher self and see what happens. But it looked like my younger self for a minute, but then it changed. Oh, look at that. And also, too, there are many, many times that I've gotten information and wisdom from who I thought looked like children, but actually they were so much, the wisdom and the age was so far, it was so much farther than I've been. Lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. But they decided to show themselves as children. So it all depends. It all depends on how your higher self shows up. Your higher self will show as a familiar image. So it may show itself as you a little older, you a little younger, you at a different time, you at an advanced time. It may look younger, but obviously this is your higher self is someone that's seen a lot further and a lot more than what you're experiencing right here, right now, in this time frame. So, Anna, I would definitely suggest for you to try that exercise again. And again, that's just the beginning stages. And you can definitely reach out to me in any way, shape, or form if you want to go further with that, any kind of topic ideas, or even the fact if you want to gain more of a connection with our higher self, all you need to do is just send me a message. You have all my social media. You can just reach out, let me know, and then I will probably do a more intensified or more a higher level. And yes, I try to keep things as simple as possible. For the reason complication already. So, instead of making things more complicated and therefore you have to think more, therefore you're not connecting as well, I'm a big subscriber to being, keeping it simple and organic and as simple as possible, because the less complicated, the more intentional you become, and the more directly connected you are to your goal as well. So I think that's really, really important. Incredibly important to keep it simple. A lot of people, even in this world today, it's things are way too complicated. They make things too complicated. Sometimes if it takes 3 steps or 2 steps, sometimes 1 step, people are adding all kinds of steps for their own reason, because other things get in the way. So try to keep it as simple and as zen as possible, and it's helpful. It definitely helps you become more ease and more balance. Well, true. It's not about complicating or making things, even some of the most advanced things. Even some of the most advanced things that you could possibly, advanced activities, I have found that there was a simplicity in those too. So it's something for you to think about. And again, this is just my method of doing things. This is what I've been told from my soul council, from my spirit tribe, from, my spirit guides, my higher self, is to keep things simple. Because ultimately, the people that I've worked with are anyone from beginner to advanced people. people that are just starting on their earthly walk or path, or their mindfulness path, their spiritual path, to people that are advanced, that want to remember. So really, what it really matters is keeping it simple, keeping it zen, keeping it organic. I think even so many things would be so much better. Even the world today would be much better if people kept it more simple. I think that'd be the way to go, in my opinion. Because if it gets too complicated, it gets too dramatic, and then before you know it, you don't even know why you showed up. You don't even know why you're doing it. In fact, you may even forget. What you were doing in the first place. Why was I here? What did I come here for? Why did I go to the cupboard? Right? And approach from a place of kindness, yes. Kindness for yourself and kindness towards others. As a matter of fact, this happens quite often with me, and it happens pretty much on a daily basis. Like, I'll be multitasking so much in my mind that I'll be doing multiple things at once, and I will walk into a room and all of a sudden be like, what did I come here? And immediately my higher self goes in and goes, oh yeah, you wanted a tea. You wanted tea because, this is why. Because you're feeling off, or you needed to center this way, or you needed to do that. I'm like, oh yes, tea. And I say, thank you. Or if I was looking for something, as an example, if I was looking for something and I said, you know what, this is just going to drive me nuts, I'm just going to let it go. Well, my higher self gets on the job. And then it could be a couple hours, it could be a few minutes, it could be a couple of days, whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm looking for something else or doing something else, and all of a sudden that particular thing I was looking for or wanted to find magically pops up. So what do? I thank my higher self. I thank my guides. I thank my soul counsel. I say, hey, thank you. Yes. And also, too, one of the big things, too, is not to be so hard on yourself. If something doesn't come to you right away, the more stress, the harder it's going to be. The more you traumatize your brain in trying to get this information or trying to remember this thing. So ultimately, it's so much easier to just say, you know what? I'm going to not think about it for the moment. It'll come to me. I know it'll come to me. It'll come to me pretty easily and quickly. So I know it's in there somewhere. And that's it. And then let it go. And then what happens? Your higher self, your spirit guides, your totems, they kick in and they go, hey, this is what you're looking for. And interestingly enough, even with manifesting, there are times that I've said that, oh, you know what, I really could use a such and such. And then before you know it, it happens. And it was just a thought. It was just a quick thought. And before you know it, bing, da, 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 it happens. So that's also very, very, very cool. That's pretty intense type stuff, for sure. So now all of you sensed a higher self. Most of you saw a higher self in different incarnations, whether it be younger, a little older, a little younger, started off younger, then going on older. Now, the relationship is not a disconnected one. You're just not fully aware of it. No different than we all have spirit guides, we all have guardian angels, we all have totems. We all have these people and these beings that watch out for us, that check on us to make sure we're okay. We'll have past loved ones that come and check for us, and check out and see how we're doing. That does happen too. But the interesting thing is that this is not a new path that you're embracing. This is not a new path that you're going on. Actually, you're re-remembering. You're relearning something you already knew. So anything that I give to you, I'm just reminding you that it's already there. The information's already there. You just have to re-download it. It's like having an app that you haven't used in a long, long time, and you forgot you had it. And so what happens? You go, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know I had that app. And then you update it. So bringing into the science and into the 21st century, into the here and now. So now, in using that exercise, one thing, and I will give this little extra little moon site for you and little extra tip for you, what you can do is next time you do that, you can have a conversation with yourself. You can ask your higher self if there's any advice or any wisdom that they need to impart onto you. It may take time. Like I know when I first started, like I was doing shamanic journeys at a very, very young age, and I didn't even realize what they were. I was just doing them. I was just going. I was traveling. And I still travel at night when I sleep. So it's no wonder I don't get that whole lot of sleep. Shelley, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're catching me live. Nice to see you. It's a pleasure. But ultimately, this is what it's all about, though, is that we fail to give ourselves enough credit. So many times our spiritual path has been there. It's just we forgot about it. We didn't think about it. We kind of put it on the wayside because, let it on the side because you have other things you got to do. You have to raise kids. You have to work your job. You have to pay the bills. You have to clean your house. You have to, do an oil change on your vehicle, whatever it may be. All those life tasks that we have to do. However, there is an essence around us. We are not just in this physical realm. There's so many other physical realms around us that we don't look at, we don't see. As I've actually brought it up in another broadcast, where I was driving after being exhausted from working. At the time, I was working 3 jobs, working incredibly intensely. I'm driving down the highway, and I saw someone walking a dog across the highway, and I saw it so vividly. I actually swerved and everything. I was lucid enough that I was seeing beyond the veil. I was seeing beyond my reality and seeing whether it was residual or different dimensional type energy, but I was seeing something. And I swore, I was like, wow, wait a minute. But this is the thing. We have all this innate ability already. Our higher selves have already been there protecting us. They've already been there. They're there protecting us. They are like our own knowledgeable, wise guardian angels in a way. So I've mentioned the whole nature versus nurture thing, but consider this part of your hardwiring. We're not just this physical, we're not just synapses and we're not just protons and neurons and energy bouncing around. We're not just that. We have a life spark, that soul part of us that connects us all. Isn't incredible? So our higher self is just the direct link to that mass consciousness that makes us all connected. So they watch out for us. You can call it your sacred self, you can call it your higher self, but they're there. They're always there to watch out for you. They're always there to give you love. Not to give you criticism. That's a whole different you. That's a tainted you. That's a shadow self that doesn't necessarily believe that you can achieve things. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm seeing my son through a grieving process. An Apache tear giving me from Wolf. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing about Apache tear, the stone, since Jean's brought it up, is Apache tear. The reason why they call it Apache tear is because this crystal was formed from the tears of Apache women that were mourning their others, their mates that were lost either in war or to the elements or to sickness. So that's Apache tear. It's not smoky. It's like a black quartz, and it's very, very interesting. I've actually worked with Apache tear before. It's very powerful. It's very good for grounding as well, and it helps with emotional issues as well. So if you're in the process, you can hold on to that. And obsidian is also very good. Obsidian is very, very good for grounding as well. I've got not malachite. I've got hematite and tiger's eye wrapped around my choker, and herkimer and labradorite that I also work with. But all these things connect us to our spirit selves, to our spiritual selves. So a lot of times you're not doing this on your own. You're not doing this by yourself. Ultimately, you are never truly by yourself. I know that could be creepy to some. And some of us, not me, but some of us could be sitting doing our normal thing and finding that we have company in certain situations. Luckily, my soul counsel knows when I need to be left by myself for a moment, or they can back up a little bit. Some things we need to do alone. Ultimately, if you really think about it, some things you just need to do alone, by yourself, with no help and no witness or anything like that. I'm not going to get into graphic details. We already have a nice, vivid imagination out in this group. I know. Well, yes, obsidian is Apache tear. However, there are different gauges of obsidian. Right? Because Apache tear, I've seen the see-through Apache tear. And then there's the dark, the really opaque as well. And ultimately, a lot of these stones are based in a good amount of them are based in quartz too. So it depends on your situation. But thank you very much, Shelley, for clarifying that. Because just no different than quartz. You have smoky quartz, milky quartz. A person I was working with recently, instead of giving them a polished, store-bought quartz, I actually gave them quartz crystals right from the coast. It's quartz. It's milky quartz. Now, to me, it's even more organic and more powerful because it hasn't been processed. It hasn't done anything like that. It's not pretty. It's just straight up. Well, there you go. But see, this is the thing. A lot of times, and I've used both, and I have both as well. I have obsidian, and I have the Apache tear. So it depends on different aspects of what they are. So that's kind of cool. And they're amazing for grounding. If you need to ground and center, I know the other day I just felt off. Something just felt off. I don't know what it was. I just felt like I was not centered even in my body. Not even my energy was off. And it just wasn't good. And I wasn't sure. It's almost like I could describe the feeling similar to like if someone's blood sugar is low. Like I'm not a diabetic, thank God. Knock on wood. But it's almost like if your blood sugar is low, you're feeling kind of off, right? But what ended up happening was I had to stop and ground. So I took one of my really nice big generators with all quartz crystals in it. I took that and I held on to it. And I put a couple of crystals around me. One of them was tiger eye, which is protective, and labradorite, and this quartz generator. And I just sat with it a few minutes. And it felt like this. It felt like, you know how like you're doing this, you can't really see my hands clearly, and then it was cool. So then I was recentered, and I was like, okay. Now, if this happens again, I will say to all of you, don't ever, 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 ever take anything, whether, you heard or said or read or anything. If something feels really odd or alien to you, and it's a physical thing, do get checked out by a doctor. Don't expect it to, just don't pull out your oracle cards and expect, everything to be all right. Granted, your higher self and your spirit counsel is very, very good, but sometimes you just need a straight up doctor. So just be aware of that. If something feels really odd to you, and it's longer than a moment, it's a couple of days, definitely get checked out. Because that's part of our connection. That's part of our layers, our mind, body, and spirit connection. If something has come in through the energetic realms, and from the energetics to our emotional realms into our physicality, then we sometimes just need to have a doctor take care of it. But interestingly enough, oh yes, you want to make sure you do all the above. And I had, going back when I was younger, I had a health issue come up, and I did both. I worked with my medical doctors, and I had to actually get surgery. I worked with my medical doctors, but I also was receiving energetic body work. I was receiving Reiki and magnified healing and working with stones. And then at that point, the doctor even had said, I cannot say that your recovery is all our doing. So whatever you're doing with your holistic stuff, continue doing it, because obviously in unison it's all working out well. So that's important. But a lot of times my higher self or my spirit counsel will kick in and say, hey, look, you need to take better care of yourself right now, because you're going to feel it in about any minute now. And sure enough, that's what happens. So it's something to be aware of. So it is not easier. And I'm not proposing you an easy strategy. This is not an easy thing. This is not, gaining more of a relationship with your higher self isn't necessarily easier. I'm going to say it's better, but it's not easier. Because being more mindful and being more spiritual and being more connected and walking the sacred path and living shamanically, it may seem more difficult. But actually, it's really not difficult. It's just an awareness. It's a deeper awareness to who you are, who you were, who you are, and who you are supposed to be. And that ultimately is key. So now, for the new people in the room, have you seen your higher self, and have you connected with your higher self? Because if you're working with stones, then yes, you probably have a pretty good relationship. We have Shelley, that was here. I don't know if you're still here or not. But do you have conversation with your higher self? I'm curious. And I also want to thank a lot of the new subscribers that have come in too. So that's like amazing. It's just the support and the good juju. I really appreciate it. So if you do connect with your higher self, definitely, that is a step in the right direction. A lot of times people don't realize that. They think, oh, wow, all of a sudden I heard this voice and it kind of sounded like my own. Well, it's your inner self, it's your higher self telling you, hey, look, you need to think about this for a second. You need to look at why you're doing this. What's happening? Why did you make that decision? or remind you of something that was important to you before that you've kind of forgotten or set aside. All of that's really, really important, and staying grounded and staying focused and living your life in a good shamanic way. And I'm not saying good societally. I'm really saying it in the sense of just the right way. Just the right way. That's it. Because we all have a balance point. We all have a point of homeostasis. We all have that. So now, focusing on that, that's the important key. Ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. Some of us are doing it without even knowing. You find that you want to find that balance all the time. And that's usually why. Because it's your body and your spirit trying to mesh and say, okay, this needs to happen. We need to get there. So how are we going to get there? So something to think about. So whatever it means, whatever methods that work with you, go with them. Don't let your inner critic tell you no. Don't let people that choose. Again, everyone's level of awareness is different. Don't let anyone tell you that you're doing anything wrong, per se. Because deep down inside, your higher self is going to be able to tell you and steer you in the right direction. Your spirituality is going to steer you in the right direction. Your soul counsel, your spirit guides, your totem animals, they will also guide you in the right direction. Now, if you choose to listen or not, whatever you choose, you're right. Bottom line. Whatever you choose, whatever decision you make, you're right. If that's the decision for you, for what you think is your best, then do it. And that's really the best thing you can do. But we're going to do a quick summary before we end the broadcast. But the connection to your higher self is just an amazingly important, intimate, and vulnerable connection. It's a connection that we all strive for, knowingly or not. It's a connection that ultimately, if strengthened mindfully and lucidly, you will find that you will have the ability to get through the adversities of life in a much easier way. So as much as mindfulness is harder, you have to be more responsible. You have to be aware of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions, and you have to be good. And I'm not talking about being politically correct. I'm talking about being spiritually correct, soulfully correct. Putting someone down is just wrong on every level. Helping them is right on many levels. So I don't have to tell you this stuff because you're... Yes! We're back. And lately, this is when it's about when it's been happening. It's towards the end. Thank you so much, Shelley. Oh, God. Why? But yes, so thank God it was towards the end of the show. And yeah. And I have a most incredible editor that already has a big, huge bunch of work on desk to take care of. But here's just something else that we have to edit to make nice. Yeah. But there I am. So, before all this stuff goes to hell in a handbasket, I think I have timeshare in both hell and heaven. I don't think either one of them wants me, honestly. So, I'm here for a while. I plan on hitting 100, I hope. Fingers crossed. But your connection with your higher self is just incredibly important. Your relationship is highly important to that. And as you gain your relationship with your higher self, your guides, and live in a more shamanic way, as much as it's more mindful and more responsible, it is also more loving, more grounded, and just incredibly amazing and life-fulfilling. So, yeah, I don't know if heaven wants me. I don't know. I think they're a little scared. I'm a little rogue. But thank you for that, Anna. But so I'm going to close up the broadcast, and I want to thank all of you for being here. I also want to thank the new subbies. I have a couple of new subbies that popped in, so that's fan-freaking-tastic. You guys are amazeballs, and I love you to pieces. And also, too, we're in the process of trying to get to that thousand subscriber mark. And thank you so much, Shelley, for coming in. It really matters. You know, every one of you matter to me. A lot of... thank you. A lot of your inspiration is why I do what I do. So it's not just me wanting to hear myself talk, because you know what? You know, I will tell you, I will go days without saying anything and be quiet. And then I usually get DMs and messages and text messages and, you okay? You all right? What's going on? Are you MIA? What's going on? What's happening? Which is a good thing, too. That means love. That means you're loved and cared for, of course. But ultimately, the reason why I do this is to help you be a better you. For you to engage in yourself and think about things that we normally wouldn't think about. And thank you so much for the shares. And all of that really makes a difference. Now, one thing I'm going to say before closing out the broadcast is that I have a voice, I have a spirit, I have a soul, and I do my best to put it out there. Okay? You too have that. You have the ability through your own spark, your own spirit, to be the bright beacons that we need in the world today. So just be aware of that. One person can make a change, because it takes one pebble to make a ripple in a pond, in an ocean, in the world. So just understand that. But I want to thank you all for being here. Everything you do, all you share, you repost a lot of my stuff, you comment a lot on my stuff, and I really appreciate it. And you guys are just amazing. And I love you for that. But as I say every week, be strong, be amazing, be you. And know that you are a powerhouse. Just know that. See you next week. Talk to you soon.